All right, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Welcome once again to INA's Post-Summit Webinar Series. This morning we are presenting Kansas City Life and Carl Van Nostrum. Today is solutions for your ancillary product needs. So Carla, thank you very much for coming on board today to do this. I'm going to turn these controls over to you, and we'll let you get this thing started here.
Okay, thank you very much for everyone's time today. I greatly appreciate it. My goal for today is just to familiarize you with Kansas City Life, our company, our products, some of the nuances, so that when your employee benefits specialist from INA recommends us, you can have a little bit more familiarity and confidence in that for yourselves and for your clients. Kansas City Life doesn't have a famous duck. We don't run Super Bowl advertisements. We don't have a cute lizard or Snoopy that is our logo, and all of our agents that are familiar with us love us and kind of think of us as the best kept secret in the ancillary products market area. We're not on everybody's spreadsheet, and that is something that is helpful to you in your local markets. Probably a lot of the agents that you compete with use, their top 5 favorite carriers. So even presenting us in general can distinguish you from everybody else that's out there. I have worked with Insurance Network America for over 5 years, and they are my favorite clients, and they're not paying me to say that. I appreciate their knowledge and skill level and their dedication to all the agents that they have. I know they represent several different carriers. I'm familiar with those companies and with those company reps, and I respect all of them, and my philosophy is that there's enough business for all of us. I just might happen to want all of it. Throughout the presentation, if you have questions, I think you have the ability to type those in, and we will be able to address those as we see them or as at the end of the presentation. In this age of healthcare reform and uncertainty, ancillary products can remain a source of consistency, a source of calm, something that you can fall back on and not have to worry about what type of significant changes are going on in that market. And I know that a lot of the uncertainty with healthcare reform can lead to some indecision on your client's part, and I appreciate all the work that you do with your clients to work them through those issues. Keep in mind, and they may need to be reminded, that the employees still have the wants and needs of the group products and the ancillary products that are out there. People still need to go to the dentist to have their teeth cleaned, and they still get root canals. Folks still have life insurance needs that are not being addressed on an individual basis, and sometimes the only way that an employee can access some of these type of products or coverage is through their employer. So the ancillary products can remain, a source of consistency, even though there's a lot of change and uncertainty going on with healthcare. For Kansas City Life, we have been around since 1895, and we've been doing our ancillary products for about 34 years. We've got about $60 million worth of in-force premium, and that represents over 60 lines of individual or group coverage, not individual coverage, group coverage. We're rated A. We have an A rating with AM Best, and our products are approved in 48 states. If you do have state-specific questions, I'm happy to address those. The 2 states that we don't operate in are New York and Vermont, and those are for groups that are domiciled in New York and Vermont. I know that not all products are available in all states, but if we have anything specific that I can try to speak to later, I'm happy to do that. Kansas City Life takes a 3-prong approach to their product line. We have a set of products that are available to the 2 to 9 market. We have a true group market for 10 or more employees. And then we have our Abacus Series, which is a particularly different set of voluntary products. Our average group size is about 25 lives. So that's about our sweet spot. We certainly can do more creative things with the larger groups, and we do kind of have a special target market for life and disability for groups over 100 lives. One of the things that distinguishes Kansas City Life and really makes the difference are the people in the company. We understand that small employers are not necessarily HR specialists or benefit specialists. Life happens. Sometimes an employee might accidentally be left off of the dental coverage or the life coverage or things like that, and we're actually easy to work with and easy to troubleshoot issues. One of the things that I appreciate about working for Kansas City Life is that I can walk down the hall and put my hands on the decision makers or the folks that need to make the change. So working through INA and accessing Kansas City Life, you really have more direct access than you might calling an 800 number of a very large company. One of our Select Trust Plus products offer some unique features. We do dental, life, long-term, short-term disability, and vision. The vision happens to be written on our True Group contract. It's just available down to 2 lives on an employer-paid or a voluntary basis. For our Select Trust Plus product line, I don't have voluntary products available. The employer must fund at least 25% of the cost, but if they're willing to chip in a couple of dollars, then we're able to access some benefits. We have guaranteed insurability, and we can do carve-out plans also. So you might have a larger group, maybe they just want to cover the managers, but maybe that only consists of 3 or 4 people. We can still handle those type of things for all of our product lines. Our dental is more of a canned product when it's in the 2 to 9 product range. One of the nice features about it is that ortho is available under 2 lives, or for 2 lives, 2 employees enrolled and their families, of course. We are paying the dental benefits on this product line in the 80th percentile of UCR. I'm sure you're probably aware that UCR is no longer, or maybe never has been, a universally defined set of standards in the industry. So I just want to give you an idea that our 80th percentile of UCR is actually very generous, and we're happy to share with you if you have a particular group that's interested in coverage. We're happy to share with you what we're paying out for particular dental codes so that you can have an idea if that's generally what the current carrier has been paying. We can do that for both our Select Trust Plus as well as our True Group products. I get a lot of compliments from agents that work with us at our reimbursement levels, which is very nice to hear. The commission schedule on the Select Trust Plus Dental is a 10% flat commission. For our short-term disability, the disability products for Kansas City Life, the 2 to 9 product line, is actually how I came to know Kansas City Life. I have been in the insurance industry for quite some time and worked in a property casualty agency selling employee benefits to their groups. And I was looking for products that would help out small employers, and the disability is how I came to know Kansas City Life. It is excellent to be able to offer coverage to smaller employers. Our long-term and short-term disability products are guaranteed issue. There is a pre-existing condition benefit on the short-term disability, which is really nice. People always worry about something that maternity is always a concern when you're writing short-term disability, so there would be some benefit available. Or if there's a condition that you're not aware of that's out there, you can just rest assured that there will be some type of coverage available for folks. It pays out at half the weekly benefit for about 5 weeks, so that's actually something nice to be able to fall back on. One of the ways to be able to address an employer about disability. It depends on your comfort level with it. You don't have to know all the ins and outs. If you have a quote that you want to present, I'm happy to talk you through that and help you get a little bit more comfortable if you've not sold disability in the past. Just get you more uncomfortable with how to talk to your client about it. I've seen the best success rates with agents when they talk about disability at a time other than their renewal, their health insurance renewal. So if they have a January 1 effective date for their health insurance and their dental, maybe when you do your follow-up mid-year or so is when you might bring up disability. Check in, see how they're doing with their health insurance. Have they thought about disability? One of the ways that I was able to sell it, and I've seen good success, especially for small employers, is to try to quote individual disability for that small employer. They will receive sticker shock, and then you can come back and end up telling your client that, well, we have some other options. They're group benefits. They pay out a little bit differently. It is not the same type of reimbursement. It's a little bit of a Band-Aid, but it's better than having no coverage in place. And keep in mind with disability, whether it's on the smaller employers or whether it's on a larger employer, every employer has a disability plan in place, whether they know it or not, whether it's insured or not, and whether it's written and communicated to their employees. What we see happening a lot of times is a disability will actually occur within an employer, and they will figure out that they don't have coverage because they haven't ever made an effort to buy any. And a lot of times they end up buying the coverage after something's already happened because they see what occurs. So I've written a lot of coverage where somebody's become sick or injured. The employer had to make a decision as to how they were going to continue paying the employee or not, felt guilty about what was occurring, or realized that if they continued salary for some employees and not others, that sets them up for great liability, and then that's when they end up pursuing disability coverage. I feel like when I'm selling disability coverage that I'm taking care of people, I'm nurturing and being more protective. It's not something that is requested quite as often as dental insurance, but it's just such an important aspect for employees to have. Certainly they don't go out and buy this on their own. So that's me being on the soapbox for disability. With our Select Trust Plus long-term disability plans, there is no evidence of insurability required for either the short-term or the long-term, and our commission structure is a flat 12% for the short-term and a flat 15% for the long-term. We do guarantee issue all these products, but there's a little bit on the front end from an industry standpoint that will dictate what benefits are available. So for more of the white collar, gray collar, we can get benefits payable to age 65. If it's a little bit of a heavier industry occupation, then depending on the SIC code, benefits may be payable to age 65 for accidents and for 5 years for sickness. On the 2 to 9 Select Trust Plus Life, we have some guarantee issues that's really nice. The guarantee issue is $25,000 for 2 to 5 lives and $50,000 for 6 to 9 lives. The maximum benefit available is $100,000 for the program. So we can put a plan in place where there's $100,000 worth of coverage that employees apply for. And for example, if the employer has sacrificed his health in the process of growing his business, he can still have automatic coverage available, depending on the group size. We do have vision that's available down to 2 lives, and I'm going to talk more about that at the end of the True Group product line because that's really what it is. It's written on the True Group contract. So the 10 plus, the True Group, we get a little bit more flexible with our plan designs and the type of things that we can do in the dental area. We have voluntary products available as well as employer paid. The networks that we use are Connections Dental and the Stratus Network. Those are automatically, all claims are automatically processed for both networks. So employees can make the conscious choice to look up a provider and search for that. But even if they don't, the claims are automatically processed. The Stratus Network is secondary, so the claims are processed for the Connections Dental. If the dentist is not located in that, it automatically searches through the Stratus Network to adjust claims. And that has really expanded our providers to even greater than the 80,000 that are listed through the Connections Dental. We write in 48 states. There are some areas that are outside of, larger metropolitan areas where dentists maybe don't feel motivated to join a network. And on our True Group, our 10 plus, we are paying in the 90th percentile of UCR. Again, it's a generous 90th percentile. We are happy to share with you what those UCR payouts are by dental code if you're interested in taking a look at that. We can nominate dentists to the Connections Dental Network. We've had great success with that. So if there's, the decision maker of the group has a favorite dentist, we are happy to try to contact them. That licensing and contracting and paperwork takes a little bit of time, so it's not like it happens within 10 days of the effective date of the group, but it's something that we can take care of for the employers if there's a favorite dentist that they want to have included in the network. We have flexible plan design options with the coinsurance that's available, with the out-of-pocket maximums that are available. We can include implants and adult ortho, as well as a dental reserve account, which is a rollover benefit, and we can offer a rollover takeover. When it comes to those additional options that I just named, we do need you to let us know that that's what you're looking for. We are aware that certain carriers offer certain things. I'll particularly pick on Guardian for the moment. I think Guardian was one of the first carriers that I was familiar with that offered the rollover benefit. So a lot of times if we see that that's the current carrier, we can include the dental reserve account and the rollover takeover in the quote. If we are starting out with a group that has not had any type of rollover previously, we can add the dental reserve account, which is our rollover benefit. We can add that on there for free. There's no charge for that. There's only a little bit of a premium charge when we do the takeover. On our dental plan, we have a hearing discount plan that is included, as well as a vision discount plan that's included. I don't talk up the vision discount quite as much because we do have the vision insurance that's available that does a much better job in meeting employees' needs. And out of anything that I think that should be offered, it should be the voluntary vision pretty much to all of your clients. On our group term life, really out of any of the products that we have, our group term tends to be a little bit more of the commodity than some of the other features that we offer through our other products. Conversions available without evidence of insurability. A lot of times on our group term life, we can give 3-year rate guarantees. We do have value-added services that are available not just on our group term life or the voluntary life, but for any of our disability products as well. These come free of charge. They are not insurance, they are services. But the value-added services are the beneficiary companion, the identity theft assistance, and the travel assistance. Again, these are services. They're like a concierge service. There are not cash benefits that are payable with the value-added services. That would be insurance. There would be a charge for that. That's what we're talking about. The beneficiary companion is excellent, and it's available to employees whether they have our group term life or our disability. And it works even if a family member has passed away that wasn't covered on our policy, if that makes any sense. So if you have an employee at a group and maybe their parents passed away, and the parents maybe don't even have life insurance, that's not the point. The employee can call in for the beneficiary companion services, and our group of representatives will talk that employee through the things that they need to think about because they've just experienced a death in the family. So, for example, how many death certificates do you need to request? What are the steps that you need to take to identify what accounts are in that loved one's name and how to close out those accounts? Identity theft happens to be an important issue when there's been a death in the family because, unfortunately, there are people who specifically target folks that have recently passed away in order to steal their identity. Under the identity theft assistance, again, there's not a cash payout that's available. It's really a concierge service that helps the employee know the steps that they need to take if they feel like there's been an event that's occurred in their life that's compromised their identity, or if they want to take steps to protect themselves from their identity being taken. I travel quite a bit working for Kansas City Life, and I experience this probably at least twice a year, if not more than that. So because my credit card's going everywhere, when I do travel for work, I think that's one of the things that kind of makes me a higher target, possibly. Either that or they just think I'm a ditzy blonde. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, identity theft is something that can happen to all of us without us knowing, and it can reoccur frequently. The travel assistance is available for anybody. A lot of times when you think of travel assistance, you think of going overseas, but it's actually available for anybody who is traveling more than 100 miles away from home. And when we first introduced the value-added services and we had our products training on that for our sales folks here in the home office, I think we had about 24 people that were in that seminar being trained, and all of us mentioned that there was at least one, if not two, events that had occurred to each of us within the last year where we felt like we could have accessed any of these value-added services. So whether somebody in the family had passed away, whether there had been identity theft situation, or whether somebody had been away from home and had an episode occur where they could have used some concierge-type services to help get life back on track. The travel assistance can help out with getting prescription medications. It can help out if there has been, a natural disaster and you need to be able to get home. Just those type of issues, anything that goes wrong when you're traveling away from home. It's an excellent added benefit to be able to have. Let me move on to the Voluntary Life. What I like about our Voluntary Life is that our guarantee issue standard is $100,000. We quite often, most generally, grandfather in any existing benefit that is there. So if they have coverage in force and their guarantee issue is greater than $100,000, we can work with that, and even offer higher guarantee issues than $100,000. That's just our standard. The maximum benefit available on our Voluntary Life is $500,000. This is in addition to any type of employer-paid benefit that they have. So that's also a nice thing. On the Voluntary Life, I need a minimum of 10 lives enrolled or 20% participation, whichever is greater. The employees have the chance to port coverage or convert coverage, but they don't have the chance to do both. So once they've made the election, that is the election that they have after they leave the group. On our short-term disability, we have 2-year rate guarantees that are available. We have really flexible plan designs. Of course, it's guarantee issue. We have, again, we need 10 lives for the voluntary that's enrolled. And it's pretty much straightforward. There's not a lot of bells and whistles on the short-term disability other than the value-added services that are included that I mentioned previously. On the long-term disability, we have some features that are potentially different from other carriers. In particular, we have no restrictions or limitations for self-reported illnesses or soft tissue injuries, and no prudent person language. So prudent person language would include, like, you've had symptoms for a while, you maybe should have known something was wrong, but you decided to wait to see if you'd feel a little bit better before you went to the doctor. That's a great example. One of the features that we are quoting for groups now between the end of the year is our unlimited return to work provision on our employer paid plans. Unlimited return to work is fantastic. Most carriers have a standard return to work feature of 12 months, which means in the first 12 months after your disability, you're able to try to go back to work and earn up to 100% of your pre-disability earnings. The unlimited return to work allows somebody to try to always go back to work regardless of how long a period of time it's been since they've been sick or injured. So this is fantastic for giving people a longer recovery period time. They don't have to feel pressured to return to work right away, but then once they do achieve some level of recovery, they don't get penalized if they want to try to go back to work. We're not the only ones on the planet that have the unlimited return to work. It is available through other carriers. They're just going to charge you for it, and they may or may not be interested in quoting it on your group, depending on their underwriting guidelines. But on all of our employer-paid plans, it is something that we are offering between now and the end of the year. We have employee assistance programs that are available for our long-term disability clients. Currently, the web-based programs are automatically included, and our face-to-face visits there's a little bit of additional premium for that, but it's kind of built into the premium, so you don't really see it broken out separately. Today is Wednesday the 26th. I am having some sales training this coming Friday the 28th, where we're actually enhancing our employee assistance programs. So I don't have details to release to you at the moment, but these are actually going to be getting better. And we, send in your quotes to your INA employee benefits specialist reps, and by the time you get the quote back, I'll be able to tell you how much more fantastic our employee assistance programs are. On our face-to-face visits for the employee assistance, you get 5 face-to-face visits for an unlimited number of issues. So you could have marriage counseling that you maybe want to have addressed, and you get 5 visits for that. And then maybe you have a teenager that is a rebel and is causing the family stress, which may actually lead to needing that marriage counseling. But you can do the 5 visits for the rebellious teenager, and so that's a separate issue, so you get a new bucket of visits, if that makes any sense. 3-year rate guarantees are available on our disability, and on the voluntary, again, we need 10 lives enrolled or 25% participation. Voluntary Vision is offered through the Davis Vision Network. I speak of Voluntary Vision pretty much across the board. The nuance here in our Vision product is that anything that's labeled employer paid is actually our non-contributory product, and anything that is labeled voluntary is our contributory product. So if your employer wants to be able to accept waivers, that's going to fall under our Voluntary Vision product. There's a slight difference in rates, but we're still tremendously competitive. The Davis Vision Network is fantastic because it gives the largest combination of private practice doctors as well as retail locations. And when you compare other vision insurance plans that are out there, so the VSPs and the IMEDs, VSP is going to focus on the private practice doctors. The IMED is really going to focus more on the retail locations. Ours is the combination. And when you look at what the employee has to spend out of pocket, really when you have Kansas City Life Vision, the employee is spending some of the lowest out-of-pocket costs regardless of what else is out there in the industry. So I know VSP tends to be kind of the gold standard and the fallback because it's been on the market for so long and so many agents are familiar with it. And probably a lot of your employers, the owners of the businesses might be familiar with the doctors, the eye doctors that are local in their area. They might play golf together at the country club. And of course, the eye doctors are always going to recommend VSP. It's a great program, but when you take a look at what employees are paying out of their pocket, there's really value and savings when you're using somebody other than VSP, particularly Kansas City Life's product line for vision. Vision happens to be something that a large percentage of employees need, even if they're not speaking up and asking for it. Employees have the tendency to speak up and ask for dental insurance because they view that as being a much larger out-of-pocket expense. But you can offer the voluntary vision to any size group because we only need 2 employees to participate. So out of any product that I have, the vision is something that I really think should be offered to everyone. Last year, we had a program in place where agents were getting paid some additional commission and bonuses if they were cross-selling and adding product lines on. And I had a large group that had voluntary dental with us, and they were loggers. And they were loggers in Oregon and Washington. Beautiful part of the country if you've not ever been there. Tremendously green and tremendously forest or rural type areas. You know, these employees of this logging company lived and worked where the trees grew, which was not the big cities. We had voluntary dental in place. I was working with the agent to add voluntary life at renewal, and I jokingly said, let's stick voluntary vision under their noses and see if they're interested. There was no additional effort for the employer or for the agent to do that. The employees were just handed the vision information. It was a group that was over 100 lives, and we had about 46% participation. And this was a group where the employees really had not even ever asked for vision previously. I was very pleasantly surprised, and the employer and the agent were also very pleasantly surprised with how well received this benefit was when it was just, handed a la carte to employees, and whether they signed up for it or not, they were able to participate. It's something that, you walk into any business or any office and somebody's probably wearing glasses. So I highly, highly, highly recommend the voluntary vision. And again, I use the term voluntary even if the employer is contributing, because if they want to be able to accept waivers, it goes on our voluntary contract. Finally, for our Abacus Series products, this is voluntary short-term and long-term disability as well as voluntary life. It is unique in the fact that we only need 6 lives enrolled as our minimum. Now, there are aspects of the voluntary long-term disability and the voluntary life where we do need 25 or 20% participation required, but we can still offer products down to 6 lives enrolled. So I can address a smaller group with the Abacus Series products than I can with my traditional True Group products. The thing to keep in mind about the Abacus Series is that it can be purchased on an incremental basis. It's a little bit geared more towards a worksite marketing basis because the fact that it can be purchased incrementally. So if an employee knows that they want to spend a certain amount of dollars out of their paycheck, or if they know that they want to be able to buy a certain level of benefits, just to be able to cover, for example, like a car payment or rent or something like that, that's where the Abacus Series product line can be very beneficial. The True Group product line for disability, it's an election where they're either saying yes to all of it or no thank you. So they're either taking the full benefit of the 60% or they're not participating at all. And the nice part about Abacus is you can get higher levels of participation. You can get greater numbers of employees to participate because they can buy incrementally. And that's why we have the different product line. One of the things that I love about the Abacus series is that we do not need a census to be able to quote this. So I call in a lot of agents that give me feedback that, maybe their focus is that 25 life group or 25 to 50 or whatnot, and they've tried to bring up the subject of disability with their employers previously, and the employers may not want to release salary information. They might feel that that's a little bit protected. The relationship that the agent and the employer have, maybe the employer doesn't want you to know that he doesn't make as much money as he'd like you to think. Go ahead and feel free to request an Abacus Series quote from us. For as much agent training as you've ever had and told not to practice quote, this is the product line to practice quote with. So, when you're requesting your dental quotes, when you're looking at your life, feel free to ask for that Abacus quote because we don't need salary and occupations, and we can give you a quote. It can be a way to open doors with employers to get that conversation started. Between you and I, based on the guarantee issue, based on how the plan design is made and things like that, the employer will be spending more out of pocket than if they, from a rate perspective, than if they chose the True Group, or even if they chose the employer paid. But because it's so quick and easy for us to turn around a quote to you, and there's really not a lot involved in obtaining a quote because they're packaged shelved rates, it's a way for you to be able to put something in front of your employer, again, underneath their nose, in order to start that conversation. It may not be the final solution that you sell to them, but it can be a door opener for you. So keep that in mind. Even if you end up selling some other type of product, plan design, whatever, this really can open a lot of doors for you, which is very, very nice. And one of the other things that I like about the Abacus series with the 6 lives enrolled, for the long-term and the short-term disability, it doesn't matter what the group size is. I can always guarantee that you will have success with the program if you get 6 lives enrolled. On the voluntary long-term disability, that's true for the 2-year benefit. But I know that there are agents that get hesitant about voluntary products because they're not sure about how participation is going to turn out, particularly if there's not coverage enforced currently. And you could have a 1,000-life group, and all I need is 6 lives to enroll. So it's a much easier, much more approachable product line than potentially the True Group can be. And on the Abacus Series product line, the commission rate is 15%. For our True Group products, in order to get a quote, we are interested in, of course, of the company name, the location, city, state, zip, census data, which would include gender and date of birth. Yes, we do need gender and date of birth for our dental products. We'd like to know, with single family count is spouse, employee, child count if we're quoting dental coverage. On the True Group, if we're quoting life or disability, potentially we would need earnings and occupation. We always do for disability on our True Group. Life, it just depends on how we're quoting that for you. So if you have a multiple of salary, of course, then we need salary. We're always interested in current and renewal rates. who their current carrier is, how long they've been with their current carrier, and then depending on how large your group is, we may also need experience. Things that are important to you that I haven't probably previously already mentioned is our commission schedule, and these are for our True Group products. I've included little bullet points on the other Abacus Series and STP Series for their commission schedules. Although we have a graded commission schedule, which is standard, if you have a particular commission structure in mind, just let us know because we can quote that for you. So I have some agents that do, depending on how large the group is and what type of services that they're providing for their client, they might be charging a commission fee, per employee per month. They might have a commission fee that's lower than what's listed. And then I have a couple guys that are in the Seattle area, and I'm not sure how they pull it off, that actually have relationships with their clients where their clients are paying, flat fees that are higher than this. Bless their hearts. And then we also have a producer bonus available, and this is for any business that would be written in 2012. So you might have, we're starting to look at January 1 effective dates, and it's based on checks and applications for business that is received to us from the beginning of the year through January 31st in order to qualify for the bonus. So your January 1 effective dates, if you get the app and the check to us, and actually I'll tell you by the 28th of December because that's the Friday, then we're able to give you a bonus for this year. So keep us in mind for your fourth quarter needs. We are happy to help you out in any way that we can. I absolutely love working with Insurance Network America. I think they do a fantastic job for you, for the agents that they serve. And we hope that you keep us in mind and ask for us by name, and feel a little bit more comfortable with Kansas City Life if you haven't used us before. I am happy now to open it up to questions. I'm happy to answer state-specific questions. My goal is really for you to just regularly be receiving Kansas City Life quotes on your ancillary products. And as we're looking at particular groups is when I really feel like you'll get a lot more of the specifics of what we can do for you. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
All right, we're looking here. So far, nothing been asked here. I'm going to change presenter over so while people may be thinking about this. Carla, I want to thank you again today for helping us out with this. Much appreciate your time. For those of you who are on the line and those of you who have worked with us before, we know that we do a top producers event twice a year. We just completed our summit, so if you were at the summit, you do know about our top producer trip that we do every year. This year, instead of a cruise, we're going to go land-based to Costa Rica. And right now, through the end of the year, all businesses sent in through January 1 effective dates has double bonus points. So it takes half the needed number to get in there. What is the web address for Kansas City Life, Carla?
Thank you for asking. Our web address is www.kclgroupbenefits, that's plural, .com. So kclgroupbenefits.com.
All right, Kyle, hopefully you got that. And so anyway, we appreciate your time. We thank you for coming on. Don't have any more questions today. Make it a great day.
Thank you. Happy to help you out in any way we can.
All right, bye.